It's hammer time. Well, actually, no, I'm Em, and we are talking kids ministries. This is lesson ideas, as on Easter Sunday, I did something a little different. Now, normally when I'm working with kids, I will use different styles, but my most favorite style is obviously the interactive, make it kind of come to life, okay? So that's my most favorite style, but obviously I don't use this style that I used on Easter morning for Sunday school. The Sunday school group that I had was Preps to Year 2, and that's a story format. You change the whole style or the whole dynamic of your class when you teach with a story. It wasn't just a Bible story. Yes, we used a Bible story, but we used another story. So it was like story time. But I don't get the kids to sit on a mat or anything like that, even though that would be particularly a story time style. The reason being, it is hard to keep kids' attention on a mat when they can shuffle around a little too much. Chairs do help them stay a little more focused. So we had a circle of chairs and we shared a story. Now, the story I shared was not something I made up. It was actually something that I heard as a kid, and it was a story that involved a hammer. And so I used this to illustrate something about Easter. Obviously, we started with the Bible verse about Thomas, doubting Thomas, and how he wanted to see the scars in Jesus's hands and his side. And he wanted to put his fingers in the scars. After he rose, but he hadn't seen him, so he was doubting. But he saw him and he didn't even have to touch. Even though Jesus said, put your fingers here, he didn't have to do. But Jesus had the scars to show it was him, right? And that he had died on the cross for us. So this story is quite simple. It was just with a piece of wood, a hammer, obviously not this kind. I needed one that can pull nails out as well as hammer in. And this concept, obviously I forgot the kid's name in the story, but there was a little kid whose dad went away and his mum had a piece of wood that the dad had given the little boy. And this piece of wood, every time he did something wrong, he would get nails hammered into the wood. And anytime he did wrong, obviously he'd have the nails showing of how many things he'd done wrong. Now, in this story, I got the kids, so obviously I still want to have some form of interaction, even though it's a story time. So I actually got the kids, I'd start the nails, and I'd actually let them. Yes, I let preppies use a hammer. So I made sure it was safe for them, maybe not so safe for me. But yes, I let them use the hammer. I did not get hit once, which was great. But however, in that time, they had to come up with something that they would do wrong. So it made the story a little more personal for them. And it kind of created something. Now, I didn't tell them I was going to do this because later on, that little boy has to, he apologized to his mom and he looked at the nails in his wood, and he was knowing that his dad was coming home and knowing he was going to get in trouble, he asked his mom for forgiveness. And she said to him, look, I'll forgive you, but I want you to start doing right. Obviously, it wasn't forgiveness, and well, you can just do it however you want, but you have to do right. And if you do right, I'm actually going to let you take some of these out. But remembering, sin has a cost. And obviously, even though you take the nails out, you still have the scars in the wood. You still have the holes in the wood, just like Jesus had the holes in his hands. And so it was a really fascinating thing, seeing them think of different things that they'd done wrong. And then obviously I flipped it when we were taking the nails out. They had to remember what they'd done wrong and work out something that they could do right instead of that. So it was interesting to see them thinking through things at the same time, which was kind of cool. And I actually went a lot better than I thought. I seriously thought some would get distracted really easy, but they were really into the story. And even my shy girls even wanted to have a go at the hammer as well. So I was very impressed. They made me very happy, and they did an awesome job. And it's just doing things a little different sometimes. Hope that's been a help.